Sunlight spilled across the kitchen table. Eleanor Hayes sat with her coffee and a short list on a scrap of paper. Milk, toothpaste, bank. She lingered on the word bank, its letters seeming to carry a weight of their own. A quiet unease settled in her chest. The kind that whispers trouble but holds out hope it might pass. Her son Daniel arrived early, his smile too quick. "Ready, Mom?" "It's just a quick errand," he said, his voice gentle but thin. His eyes darted across the room. Over the counter, the keys, the stack of mail. His wife, Sarah, trailed behind, clutching a folder tightly against her hip. "We'll sort everything out," Sarah said. "One signature, and it's done. Less worry for you." Eleanor folded her list carefully and rose. "Let me grab my coat," she said. In her bedroom, she opened a small cedar box. Inside was her late husband's cufflink, a simple piece with a tiny hollow where a stone might have sat. A thin wire was tucked beneath it. A hidden recorder. She'd bought it after sleepless nights and a discreet meeting with a bank manager who listened without judgment. With steady hands, she pinned the cufflink to her scarf. She checked her purse, wallet, ID. A plain envelope with 3 words scrawled on a card inside. Taking a deep breath, she returned to the living room. Daniel snatched the house keys before she could. "I'll drive," he said, holding the door open, but standing too close. Sarah's smile was tight. "We'll be back by noon," she said. In the car, the air was thick with a synthetic pine scent, masking the faint whiff of old takeout. Daniel turned the radio low and chatted about the forecast, a deal at the hardware store, how banks complicate things for older folks. "We're just looking out for you, Mom," he said. "You always said family comes first." Eleanor gazed out the window, watching trees sway in the breeze. She remembered Daniel as a boy, racing across the street with a kite, his laughter ringing out. The memory stung. She stayed silent, saving her strength. At a stoplight, Sarah opened the folder and tilted it toward Eleanor. Pages dense with text spilled out. "These are the forms," Sarah said. "They streamline everything. Just initial here." She tapped a spot. "It lets us handle things if the bank needs to reach someone." Eleanor glanced at the page. The words "power of attorney" stood out in bold. She didn't comment. Instead, she closed the folder with one finger and handed it back. The bank sat on a quiet corner, its glass windows gleaming under bright signs. A row of potted ferns by the door. Daniel parked close and opened Eleanor's door before she could touch the handle. "Careful, Mom," he said as if she might stumble. She stepped out, standing straight despite the ache in her hips. Inside, the air was cool, with a faint coffee aroma. A teller named Lila, with warm eyes, smiled at Eleanor, but her gaze flickered to a faint mark on Eleanor's wrist before softening again. "Good morning," Lila said. Daniel steered Eleanor to a small seating area, pressing a pen into her hand. "I'll fill these out," he said. "You just sign." He spread the folder open and leaned close. "No need to make this complicated, Mom." It's standard. Sarah sat too near, her floral perfume sharp. Her hand rested on Eleanor's arm. Not a comfort, but a signal. Eleanor stared at the wall, counting silently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It calmed her. "Let's see a banker," Daniel called out, his voice edged with impatience. "We've got forms." A woman in a crisp blazer approached, her badge reading Clara Evans, branch manager. She recognized Eleanor with a quiet nod, her eyes noting Daniel's grip on the pen. Sarah's hand on Eleanor's arm. The slight tension in Eleanor's posture. "Good morning," Clara said warmly. "What can we do for you today, Miss Hayes?" Eleanor lifted her chin. "Paperwork," she said, her voice clear. "Perfect," Clara replied. "Let's find a private office to review everything comfortably." She gave a subtle nod to Lila, who reached for a phone. Daniel scooped up the papers quickly. "We don't need a room," he said. "It's no trouble," Clara countered gently. "We review documents privately to answer any questions." She led them to an office with a glass wall and a soft closing door. A white noise machine buzzed faintly, and a small camera blinked in the corner. Eleanor chose the chair facing the door. Daniel sat across, his leg jittering. Sarah stayed close, flipping open the folder again. "Initial here," she said, pointing. "It's quick if you don't overthink." Clara sat at the table's edge, unrushed. "Before we start, I'll need to copy your IDs and scan the forms for our records," she said. "Miss Hayes, may I have your ID?" Eleanor opened her purse, retrieving her ID, a deposit slip, and the envelope, which she kept tucked inside for now. Her heart thudded twice hard. Daniel slid the pen closer. "Sign, Mom," he said, his smile strained. "We've got places to be." Sarah's grip tightened on Eleanor's arm, leaving a pale mark. "We're doing this for you," she murmured. "Don't complicate it." Eleanor met her son's eyes, holding his gaze. She saw him as a child, waving from a bike, then at his wedding, proud and tall. She let the memories pass. "I'll read first," she said firmly. Clara nodded as if it were the only answer. "Of course," Daniel gave a short laugh. "Mom, it's all standard. We went over this." Eleanor set the pen down and reached for the envelope. With a smooth motion, she slid it under the deposit slip. "Here are my documents," she said to Clara, her eyes locking with the manager's for a brief, meaningful moment. Clara took the stack without breaking her calm. "I'll make copies," she said, stepping to the copier in the hall. Under the lid, she opened the envelope. A small card read, "Help, being coerced." Her breath caught, but her face stayed steady. She copied the documents, slipping one copy into her pocket, and returned to the office, stopping briefly at Layla's counter. "Water for the office, please," she said. Layla understood, grabbing cups and tapping an alert key that signaled the guard. Clara returned, setting a cup before Eleanor. "Thank you for waiting," she said to Daniel and Sarah. "I've got a few questions." She turned up the white noise and placed a recorder on the table. "We record for accuracy." "Do I have your consent?" Sarah's lips twitched. "Is that necessary?" "It's standard," Clara said, pressing the record button. Daniel tapped the folder. "We just need to consolidate her accounts and make me the contact." Clara nodded. "I'll ask Miss Hayes directly. What do these forms do?" Eleanor's voice was steady. "They give Daniel control over my money and my home." Daniel shifted. "That's not... Mom, you're making it sound wrong." Clara raised a hand. "I'll come to you next." "Who prepared these forms?" Sarah answered quickly. "A mobile notary." "All standard," Clara noted the smudged seal in uneven font. "Do you have an attorney, Miss Hayes?" "No," Eleanor said. Daniel grinned. "She doesn't need one." "It's routine." Clara stepped to the glass wall, glancing at Lila, who nodded. The guard turned the door's top latch, limiting entry. The branch grew quieter. Clara sat again. "We'll verify the power of attorney with the notary's office and our legal team," she said. "Please wait in the lobby for our know your customer process." Daniel laughed sharp. "She's hard of hearing." "I'll stay." Clara's tone held firm. I must speak to the account holder alone. The guard stepped closer. Sarah's grip loosened. Fine, she said, standing. Daniel leaned close to Eleanor. Don't mess this up, he whispered. The cufflink recorded it. They left, and the room felt lighter. Clara leaned forward. Eleanor, I saw your note. Are you being pressured to sign? Yes. Do you understand these forms give Daniel control over your assets? Yes. Do you feel safe at home with them? Eleanor's hands stilled. No? Clara nodded. We'll help. I'm calling our legal team and the police for a welfare check and adult protective services. She paused. Is there someone you trust? My oldest son James, Eleanor said, pulling a notebook with his number in neat print. Clara dialed compliance, then the police, her words precise. Suspected undue influence by son and daughter-in-law. Possible forged power of attorney, recording active. Door on controlled entry. Outside, Daniel paced, phone to his ear, voice low. She's stalling. Be ready. Sarah watched the office, then the guard. The cufflink caught every word. Clara hung up. You did everything right, Eleanor, she said. I'm proud of you. Eleanor exhaled, her hand trembling once as she sipped water. We'll bring them back, Clara said. If you want them out, say review. Eleanor nodded. Review, she tested softly. Daniel and Sarah returned, Daniel sitting heavily, Sarah too close. Clara asked, Who's the notary? Daniel muttered, Tom, a mobile guy. Recommended. Clara took the crumpled card he offered. Why consolidate today? Sarah jumped in. Eleanor gets confused. We're helping. Eleanor's hand stayed flat, grounding her. A faint siren grew closer. Clara asked another neutral question. A knock sounded. 2 officers appeared. Officer Patel, calm and notebook ready, and Officer Lee, steady-eyed. We're here to talk, Patel said. No one's under arrest. Ms. Hayes, are you okay? I am now, Eleanor said. Lee noted the wrist mark. How'd that happen? Sarah answered. She bumps things, Eleanor said. She squeezed me. Silence fell. The recorder glowed. Patel separated them for statements, keeping Eleanor with Clara. Daniel whispered as he passed. We're family, Mom. The cufflink caught it. Alone with Patel and Clara, Eleanor answered. She didn't want to be here. Daniel and Sarah pressured her. They took her mail, threatened a care home. Patel photographed her wrist, noted the recorder, and confirmed the note. Clara added, The notary stamp's fake. We have video and audio. Patel nodded. Preserve it. A call came. Legal confirmed the stamp was invalid, matching a prior attempt. James arrived, breathless, in a worn jacket. Mom, the bank called. Eleanor stood, her voice breaking. James. He held her hands gently. You okay? I am now. Daniel and Sarah returned. Daniel insisted. Mom's confused. We're helping. Patel asked about the notary, the forms, their whereabouts during the last attempt. Daniel stumbled. Sarah deflected. James spoke quietly. Tell the truth now, Daniel, or later in cuffs. Daniel snapped. You're not better than me. Sarah hissed. Stop talking. Clara's phone flashed. Accounts are on hold, she said. No changes, no signatures. Daniel stood, voice rising. You can't do this. Patel stood, calm. Sit down. Daniel sat. Clara opened a folder. This trust, signed 3 weeks ago, names Eleanor and James as co-trustees. Her home and savings are protected. Daniel stared, stunned. Sarah laughed. You're bluffing. Clara showed the signed title transfer. It's active. Eleanor met Daniel's eyes. I protected myself, Patel said. You're detained for investigation into attempted financial exploitation and forgery. Daniel's voice broke. Mom, don't let them. Eleanor said, I'm your mother. not your target. Sarah demanded a lawyer. At the station, Patel replied. They were led out, the door clicking shut. Clara turned off the recorder. Eleanor's tears came quietly. James held her hand. Clara set out tissues. We'll file reports, preserve evidence, and flag your accounts, she said. Eleanor nodded. I want to press charges. Lila brought water, smiling softly. Patel returned. They're at the station. We'll follow up. Safe place to go? Home, James said. I'll change the locks. At the house, James installed new locks and a porch camera. Eleanor wrote a letter. Daniel, I love you. Get help. You can't come here or touch my money. If you change, we'll talk. If you try again, I'll call the police. Mom, evening light stretched across the kitchen. The house was hers, safe. Eleanor looked at her garden, leaves swaying. The word routine had been a lie. Today was a choice. She turned off the light, the house quiet, but hers alone. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something from it. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, full of life lessons, drama, and emotions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Your support means the world, and it helps me keep bringing you more inspiring and unforgettable stories. Stay tuned because more amazing stories are on the way.